Dis alles net skinder en fopnuus, sê die DA oor die naweek se berig in City-Press dat die party kan skeur. Ek verwelkom nou die DA se nasionale woordvoerder, Refiloe Nt'sekhe. Refiloe, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening and well, thank you to you and to the viewers.
Thank you so much. So on Sunday, when you picked up your City-Press and you saw this front page, DA split looms, what did you think?
I read it, obviously, and then I thought, sure, what sensationalism. It's such a pity because in my head, I look at it and I'm thinking, here we are as an organization that has just come out of really an incredibly successful Congress now in April, passing resolutions where we had at least 2,000 people voting and supporting these resolutions. And then we're going in, building up policies from there. From there, we'll be able to build manifestos for South Africa to know what the DA offer is. So when I see this, I'm thinking, this is actually, I'm sorry to say this on TV, but it's actually rubbish.
Okay, but there's been tension for quite some time, Refiloe, is that not so? In the DA caucus about the party's values along lines which some have described as the liberals and those who think the DA should follow a different course. So this might have seemed plausible to some DA readers.
No, not actually, because, you know, liberalism is very broad. You even have conservative liberalism. But the point is, when people sit on shared value, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to split just because they actually have robust debates. And this is what we have. When we have robust debate about particular positions that the party needs to take, that doesn't necessarily conclude that then the party is splitting. What it does do is it encourages, it actually plays right back to liberalism, where it says, you are free to have your point of view, even if it differs slightly from mine, but it doesn't mean a split.
So talk about a small group of DA members led perhaps by Helen Zille, who might at some point decide to go it alone. That's absolute nonsense, you say.
Do you know that this is not the first time Helen is being implicated in something like this? And poor Helen, actually, because she, back then, this is a couple of years ago, she said there is no way she's going to leave the DA. Anybody doing logical sense, Helen has actually been one of our founding members in the DA. This is the DA is actually built on her back in a lot of ways. So now when we're getting into government, where we govern for more than 30 municipalities around the country, why would you then leave your work when it's coming to fruition so much more than ever today, and go and start a new political party?
Okay, so let's assume it's not going to happen. Who would want the public to believe that it might? So who might be the source of this?
Look, when I looked at that story, even using Franz Cornier as a source, I would have rather you actually named the people that you believe were going to leave the party. But when we look at the leadership, nobody is actually, people are all shocked to say, really? So when we have discussions with Francois, because the reality, as a political party, we do engage civil society because that's how we gauge ourselves to say how the political landscape is going. So we don't just do an internal assessment of where we are, but we do engage a lot of civil society.
So it's interesting that you mentioned Franz Cornier from the Institute of Race Relations.
He's quoted in the article.
Gwen Gwenya, who was working for the Institute, joined the DA as a policy head a few months ago. It made some supporters of the DA and critics believe that the DA might actually swing in a more classically liberal direction as far as policy is concerned. Is there more coherence in the caucus these days about the direction the party should follow? Because an election looms in just a year.
I think when you say coherence, it's difficult because you must remember when you're building an organization gearing to win 2019 elections, you take all inputs from everywhere. And then you look at the foundation of the organization, which is liberal foundation. That's where Gwen is critical because she makes sure that we don't deviate from that. So that's where her role comes in. So yes, she's an absolute asset in the organization, but even the predecessor, which was Gavin Davis, he was heading policy before. He was still a core liberal. So there's no change in core foundations within the party, but obviously it's about how do you play liberalism in an African landscape.
Refiloe, what are your internal polling numbers showing you at the DA about your prospects in next year's election in townships, the township vote especially?
Look, I think at the moment we've had some challenges. We will not shy away from this. I mean, we've had embarrassments, reputational damage based on what happened in Cape Town with Mayor Delil, and we want to own that. But from where we are sitting as an organization, post-Congress, now more than ever, we find with that we are more united as the leadership of the DA to take the DA forward into the 2019 elections.
Are you being too soft on Cyril Ramaphosa? His approval ratings are quite high. The DA has been fairly friendly.
We're being friendly, but we're saying it's 100 days. So obviously you need a little bit more time to do more work as a president. But we're not saying he's not responsible because he was the deputy of Jacob Zuma, and so we cannot absolve him of responsibility for what happened during Jacob Zuma's tenure.
What do you do, Refiloe, in caucus when the critics and the pollsters say that the DA has reached a growth ceiling, that it might actually struggle to even equal its performance in the 2014 election?
Do you know in 2016 when we said we're going to take Nelson Mandela Bay, Johannesburg and Tshwane, we were told by the pollsters that it will never happen. So the one thing I know with the DA, when we say mission impossible possible, when we believe, we do what we say is going to happen. So I want the pollsters to watch it as they told us in 2016.
Okay, eventually we'll see the scoreboard, but thank you very much, Refiloe.
It's a pleasure.
Hoe gewild is die ANC tans? Bly ingeskakel, net hierna gesels ek met een van hierdie pollsters, 'n kenner oor peilings wat die effek van Ramaphosa gaan uitlê.